Anthony Slater, because the Warriors won. They snapped a 3-game losing streak. And heaven knows, I did not want to come back in the new year and do our first show in 2024 with a 4-game losing streak. The vibes are good today. Anthony, good morning. The vibes are not good with his offense. We can talk about that a little later.
Happy New Year.
Slater, he's been doing all type of good work with the Golden State Warriors. Answering Kerr all the heavy hitting questions. We got Slater on the line. Let's get him on the line. Is he there? Slater, hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been listening. I've been listening to you get like Klay Thompson level introspective about your New York 10 decade ago, the deep impact of that.
I'm telling you, man. My buddy Edwin from SS State said, boy, using that part of the club for about 30 minutes. So, yeah, there's $400, Scott. Anyway, Slater, let's get back on track here. You got me. Hey, sorry, I'm sleep deprived. My baby kicked me out of the bed last night.
Excuse you.
I was on the couch last night. But the Warriors win. And let's start with Klay Thompson. Very interesting soundbite from Klay last night.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. He put it in a way that I think, even I'm sure your listeners and the conversations we've had, have been talking about for him. And, we'll see if that impacts behavior or impacts performance. I still think we need to see over a course of games. But I think for him to just come out and publicly say it and kind of put himself out there like that. And, these young guys hear stuff. Who, is like the whole team has seen that right at this point today. Probably it was kind of at least a semi-viral clip. So I think it was interesting, and it was also, I think, another peek into where Steve Kerr is best as a coach that I think sometimes people don't realize. Right, the ego management. How many people in the world can have that conversation with Klay Thompson?
Yeah.
Where the list is 4, maybe 5.
Yeah,
well, for those that didn't hear it, let's play the sound right now of Klay Thompson. I guess Steve Kerr also addressed it, but here is exactly what they were talking about.
Steve and I had actually a great conversation yesterday, and that helped me relax a lot. Sometimes I forget just how successful and how lucky I've been to be a part of championship teams and all-star games and gold medals. And when you want to get back to that level so badly, you could kind of get in your own way. And rather than forcing it, we had a conversation about just enjoying this last chapter of my career and how lucky I truly am to still be playing this game and doing it at a high level and being a better mentor for these young guys, leading by example, and having my energy right every game. And he helped me realize when I do have negative energy, how that affects the team in a poor manner. So we had a great conversation. That just helped me change my whole mindset and forget about shooting splits or points per game or all-star games, and just to enjoy being in this Warriors uniform and appreciate what we built, because it's such a rare opportunity for any professional athlete to be a part of so much success and to try and pass that torch to the younger guys and keep this thing going.
Is that the most vulnerable you have ever seen Klay Thompson at a press conference?
Probably at a press conference, maybe. I don't know. I mean, he's of athletes, I do think there are a lot of times he does get pretty vulnerable. I mean, even post injuries, there's been various moments where he's discussed just kind of the deep pain of going through the rehabs again and some of that. So maybe, but I just think, there was 3 parts of that were interesting to me. Number one, which I think matters on the court, is clearly it's an admission of at times I get so obsessed with trying to be, get back to my old self that it impacts my play. When he mentions forcing it, I thought the fact that he used the term last chapter of my career was kind of, eyebrow raising a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I think matters, particularly for Steve Kerr, because if you go back a couple days, remember his post-game press conference after they lost to Dallas, and he's basically hinting at how individual agendas are getting in the way of the team goals.
Yep.
Just the fact that he was talking about how his negative energy affects the young guys, mentioned being a mentor. I don't know. There was a lot wrapped into there.
Yeah, there was. In terms of moving forward, how can he take what he did last night? I thought he had a great game last night defensively, particularly in the second half, and some key offensive buckets. The pass from Kuminga to him on the three-pointer was beautiful. How can he channel that and build off that moving forward?
Yeah, defensively, it's kind of, I think, night to night because I think certain matchups are fine for him. Like him going against Paulo, like it's not that bad because Paulo is like a power, like,
Right.
3-4 that I think Klay can kind of stand up against. When John Morant's in the building, like I'm not sure, like it doesn't matter how much Klay Thompson's mindset
Right.
going in the game. I just physically don't think he's there yet anymore. As far as offensively, patient. I mean, that's the big thing, right? And this isn't a new topic. This is like a decade-long topic with Klay Thompson as far as like shot selection, smarts go. But I thought he made some nice passes. He kind of strangely has a nice little connection with TJ.
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
It was a great
So,
pass yesterday earlier that game. Go ahead, finish, Anthony.
Yeah, with that little like wrap around the head. I didn't know where he was going with it at first. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe just having him out there helps, and then it's difficult because as much as Klay can have the vulnerable moments, and like even when he gets benched in Phoenix, he's like super mad on the bench, but then post game he's talking about, hey, I trust Steve, I deserve to be benched. Like I think he has when like the temperature cools down and the game is over, I actually think he always has the right team perspective, and it's why I don't worry about him making a big off day fuss and demanding this or that. But it's like when in the heat of the battle, like he still gets super frustrated. He might have had that mindset going into last night. I don't know if y'all saw, he got 2 fouls and he's going over and he's like,
Right.
elbowing the bench just because
Right.
he gets so amped up.
Yep. No, he sure does. And he picked up 3 fouls in the first half. It was a non-factor. It was good to see him bounce back after that tough 3-game stretch. I think people forget he had a good 16-game stretch, really good 16-game stretch where he shot 45% from the floor, 41 from 3. But it was good to see him bounce back. And it was also good to see Steph Curry bounce back as we're talking to Anthony Slater here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 Game. Anthony, what did you make of Steph Curry's slow start to the first quarter? We had some numbers on the pregame show where the last 9 games, he averaged like 3 points in the first quarter. He was shooting like 25% from the floor from 3. What do you make of his slow starts recently?
Yeah, I think it's partly why they changed the starting lineup and have Chris Paul in there now. They've said like part of that is to unlock Steph Curry. It's not necessarily happening right away in games in the first 2, but that's on their mind. I think part of it is the way defenses game plan. I mean, we know, although Orlando last night, especially late, I think it might have been kind of a fortunate matchup for the Warriors because I think they want Jalen Suggs to get reps just like guarding star guards. So you didn't see as much last night, like big men coming out 40 feet, trapping, getting it out of his hands. It was like Jalen Suggs, like get some reps in trying to guard Steph Curry, and that didn't go well for the Magic. So a lot of it, I think, is just dependent on how teams want to play because I think other teams, older teams, veteran teams, smarter teams at times would have just got the ball out of his hands more. So I think they were just fortunate that the other team didn't last night, so Steph was able to go get 35.
What do you think is happening here with Andrew Wiggins internally? I mean, they can't be thrilled that a guy that they gave an extension to is now off the bench and he's hit and miss. Some games he looks good, some games he looks bad. I think he's better or been better off the bench, but they can't be thrilled internally with just everything that's transpired with him, right?
No, I mean, like, like you said, 2 years ago, he's Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs, and now he's, a solid bench player. But at least he is kind of playing solid. Like 21 decent minutes last night. Like, I didn't think it was an issue. The whole thing with him now, I think, because I do think he's playing better. He's shooting it a little bit better. You want to see if he can play with Kuminga more.
Yeah.
They still seem very hesitant to overlap those two. Kuminga plays 34 minutes last night, so Wiggins is down at 21. At some point, like, you need 2 good wing defenders on the floor at all times. And Gary Payton II, which I'm sure you'll ask me about, but looks like he's going to miss a chunk of games again.
Yeah.
He kind of, at this point, can't be relied upon to be out there a bunch. So, like, they need to find a lineup combination where Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga can play together. I think they're trying, but again, last night, how much time did they share the floor together?
Yeah,
like
not much.
5 minutes, maybe?
Yeah, not much. Not much at all, Anthony. And you know what? JK's just playing better than Andrew Wiggins. Let's be honest. He offers a lot more than Andrew Wiggins right now. He goes to the rack. He finishes. His free throws need to get better, his free throw shooting, but he's getting there. He was 4 or 5 last night. I think his shot selection's getting better. Kuminga's just a better overall player than Andrew Wiggins right now. But I do want to get to Draymond Green because you've been asking Steve Kerr a lot about Draymond Green. Now, we're 10 games in now he's missed. He's missed 10 games. Is there any end in sight? Because that elephant is in the room now. It is looming large with this team because, I don't know, does Draymond Green come back and just automatically you put him in the starting lineup? What's going to happen when he does come back? Or if he does come back, Anthony, what the hell is going on with Draymond?
Yeah, I mean, again, like you probably saw the soundbite from Steve that I was asking about. There's not much of an answer or even a desire to give anybody an answer right now. And part of what I think is interesting is if you track the timeline of this thing. So he gets, the foul happens in Phoenix. They go to LA. He gets definitely suspended. Mike Dunleavy talks the morning of that Clippers game and says, admits like, hey, he's allowed, the NBA is permitting him to be in the building. He's allowed to practice with us. There was an expectation that he would take that weekend kind of away from the team. But, there was an idea. They were at least hinting to us that, he'll probably be around, like maybe not at every practice, maybe not, or around all the time on every road trip, but just stay in shape, be around the team. That just hasn't been the case. I mean, like Steve Kerr said yesterday, he hasn't been in the facility with the team. I'm getting no intel or word exactly, the reasoning behind it, or, Steve Kerr said it last night, we're giving him his space, he's giving us ours, is the way he termed it, which take that how you want. They're being very vague about it.
How did you take that?
Yeah, I like that they just remain, both sides kind of seem to need time away. And then when he said he's giving us our space, it kind of seems like, it's a little bit Draymond Green's choice too, with what's going on. And, there's the whole, therapy, mental health, counseling part of this that is not it's purposely they're being vague about. It reminds me a little bit of the Wiggins situation last year. Remember, I feel like every 4 games I had to try to press Steve Kerr on it, and he wouldn't give a answer that was satisfying to the fan base, and they would continue to go where's Wiggins? And it's I'll keep asking, but they're going to keep, hopefully they had such a tight knit. You would talk to people around the team last year when Wiggins was gone that they would be coming up asking me you know what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's there. I'm not saying it's to that level.
Right.
We do kind of know what's going on. There's less hidden here, but it's still, now that we're 10 games into it, and like you said, no end seems to be in sight. It's becoming a bigger
Yeah. All right, so,
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, let's play this out a little. Let's have a little fun with it. Trade deadline is February 8th. Percentage chance he gets traded?
Oh, I don't know. I think a lot of stuff is on the table with this team, especially the way they're playing, especially the way the season
So what's more likely? He comes back and plays for the Warriors before the trade deadline, or is traded away?
I think it's more likely he comes back. I mean, okay. I think first of all, it's a difficult contract to move on the market right now, right? It's year one of a 4-year deal, and I still do think he has a lot of impact on the court, but even if you're another team who's absorbing a 4-year, $100 million contract, you're also absorbing the situation he's currently in, which is he's at odds with the league. He doesn't change teams and suddenly league's okay, back to square one. You can, one flagrant foul and it's fine. It's just normal. So there's a lot that goes with this. I would still expect to see him at some point.
And he has that
in January, but we'll see.
Yeah, and he has that player option too at the end of the deal, just like Andrew Wiggins. They both have player options, so those could be 2 difficult deals. Maybe Wiggins is a little easier because he's a lot younger than Draymond Green. But look, man, when he does come back, rotations are going to get cut again. Guys are not going to see minutes. It is what it is. And one guy who's on the outside looking in is Moses Moody. A lot of fans, I'm sure, are asking you, just like they're asking me, Anthony, what's going on with Moses Moody? You're around this team a lot more than I am in terms of practices and everything, but what is going on with Moses Moody? Because out of nowhere, just like Kuminga, hey, one day you're out of the rotation, you're not playing.
Yeah, look, they just view him as the 10th, 11th man if Gary Payton's in there, and, Draymond was there. You were talking more 11th, 12th man, especially now that Trace Jackson-Davis is such a heavy part of the rotation. So Podziemski has leaped him. Kuminga's now a starter. They're going to give Klay his minutes. Before Gary Payton, I think he was kind of on that edge where he could still play about 8 to 10 minutes before Payton returns. So maybe he'll be back to that by the next game. But, as far as what's going on with him, I just it's pretty easy to see the coaching staff's pecking order, right? Yeah. They always reveal it with their rotations, and it's just guys are ahead of them. You can agree or disagree if guys should be ahead of them, but to me, Podziemski's rise is very important here, right? I mean, Podziemski's getting 20, 25, 30 minutes on a nightly basis, and a lot of those are just Moses Moody's minutes. So agree or disagree with that. That's just the way it's gone.
Hey, man, he's giving you 10-5-5. He's got the most 10-5-5 games as a rookie. Brandon Pajewski, that is. He deserves those minutes. But what's the temperament in Moses Moody? Because we don't hear much from him. We hear from Kuminga when he doesn't play. He'll talk to anybody. I love JK, but he'll voice his opinion. He'll voice his frustrations publicly. How's Moody feeling privately?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's extremely professional. That's like one of his like best qualities. Steve Kerr has like referred to him as like he's compared him to Kevon Looney, right, multiple times. So you're not going to hear him come out and say something. But yeah, of course there's frustration. There should be. You know, this is year 3. It's the lottery pick. He's good. He's pretty good, right? Every time he gets on the floor, like it's not delusional for him to believe like I'm ready to be like an NBA rotation player, like no question. Because when he goes out on the floor, he looks like a pretty like high level 3-and-D rotation player. There's been games. Sacramento game comes to mind where he's out of the rotation. He comes in and changes the game, has 4 threes. Probably, Steve Kerr admits later he should have closed. There's been various moments throughout his career, including, by the way, the playoffs. He was one of their like closing 5 against the Lakers, however many months ago that was. So there's been so many moments where it feels like I'm here, right? Finally, I'm getting the trust, and there's a level of frustration. But the one thing I always see with Moses Moody, you go in the locker room post game, like you said, he's not going to publicly say anything. He's just in the weight room. He's getting shots up. Like he's just kind of like trying to stay ready. And you can see it in his face. Like it's like, you can see it on the bench, right? He's sitting there like wanting to get in the game. Mm-hmm. But I understand that. I think we all do. Wow.
All right. Last one for you, Anthony. The Dolphins going to lose on Sunday, man? Blow the division?
I don't think so. I think they kind of perform better when doubted by,
That
like
was the
radio.
least confident take of all time, Doug. What are you? Come on.
You want to know where my confidence lies most? Like, I don't think the Bills are that good. Like, Bills barely beat the Patriots on it. What did they have, like 3-4 turnovers?
Division games are different, Anthony. Come on, you know that. Okay, well, guess what? It's a division game Sunday. That's for the division. That's about as division as it gets. I don't know. I mean, the thing I feel bad about one thing, which is the whole Bradley Chubb situation. I don't even want to get into. Yeah, that sucks.
On the field, like that's killer. They have 2 star pass rushers, and they're both now out for the season. So I think that's a problem in the playoffs. But regardless, even if they lose Sunday, they've moved to the 60. They're going to Kansas City. Should they be like fearing that matchup right
yes.
now?
Tyreek Hill going back to Arrowhead.
I will be betting against the Dolphins if they go to Kansas City. I will say that with my chest.
Okay, and you will lose money, which is
burrito bet.
Yeah, we'll make that happen next week once we get the matchups. Anthony, good stuff as always. I'll see you.
Thanks, buddy.
At the arena tomorrow. Should be a fun one. The different Nuggets are in town for the first time this season.
Yep. I'll see you all there.
All right, Anthony. Good stuff as always. Anthony Slater, our 95.7 The Game Insider here on the Morning Roast.